And we are live. We're back. It's been a little hour intermission. I'm Trent, aka TD, joined by Sam, aka Sanny, and today we have Jazz Paws. Jazz from ChainChamps. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm pretty good. I can't complain too much. I've had a busy day over here with your interviews. So
yeah, man.
Keeping strong.
I'm loving the music setup and the background that you got there. Which one you playing both or?
Mostly the drums. The piano was something I wanted to try to learn over the last couple of years. Beginning of the pandemic, it's gone okay, but I'm going to stick to the drums. Those have been like a 15-year thing at this point, I think.
Nice.
So.
Who's your favorite
keyboard
drummer?
Who's my favorite drummer?
Yeah.
I want to say Mike Portnoy. Mike Portnoy really inspired a lot of the music that I enjoy listening to and enjoy playing. So,
what is he from a band?
He is from a band, yes.
Which
the band was Dream Theater. He was the former drummer of it. Mike Mangini is the current drummer, but he was the former drummer for Dream Theater.
It's cool. I was going to say that name sounds familiar, but I don't recognize the band name.
Yeah, it's like progressive metal, I'd say. I think that's, I mean, you can call genres all sorts of different things, but they've been going for a long time now. I think they started maybe in the late 80s, and they're still going in 2020 now. Or maybe it was the early 90s. I want to say late 80s.
Yeah, pretty good. 80s, like 3 decades?
Yeah.
Cool. And Jazz, you are from the project ChainChamps. I'm going to go ahead and pull up your website on the screen here. Ping the link first, and let's take a look at. First, I guess, give me some background on who ChainChamps is, the team, where you guys know each other from, met, and how did this idea come together?
Yeah, I mean, most of the team is based in Canada right now. Our designer is not, but everybody else is based in Canada. Everybody that's on the team are just people that I've met throughout my life, worked with, friends with, et cetera, that I had this idea and I called them and I was like, hey, do you want to listen to this super awesome idea I have? Join me on this now multi-year endeavor into making an NFT marketplace.
Nice.
And surprisingly, everybody said, yeah, sounds cool. Let's do it. And that's sort of what led us to where we are now. What inspired ChainChamps? I got into Wax, I want to say, like a little bit before MLB came to Wax.
Okay.
And when the MLB drop happened, I was like constantly trying to buy things.
Oh, dude, it was terrible.
They were selling out so fast. The low mints were disappearing. The low priced Mike Trout's impossible to get.
Yeah, dude.
So I was just like, okay, well, this sucks, but I'm going to try to build something that's a little bit faster so that people perhaps have a better chance at getting all of the different NFTs that they're looking for. And we made a lot more interesting than that as well by pairing in all sorts of data science and AI to give users price predictions so that you wouldn't accidentally sell your mint ones for the same price as everything else.
Yeah, pricing mistakes happen in almost every.
One of the greatest ones was the Taco VIP that Cozy listed.
Oh yeah, dude, that's just it's super tragic sometimes. But yeah, dude, I'm glad that you guys had the foresight to think about how to prevent that. It's a very community minded thing to address.
Absolutely. I hated seeing people misprice the number ones.
It was painful watching it, and it was like every drop. If you went to the marketplace, and then the bots came shortly after, but there was a little pocket of time where like if you could still manually click if you were fast enough that you could you could rescue a mistake made. But yeah, I didn't. I was gonna ask what Sandy post here, so that's great that there's that article out there.
Yeah.
I haven't read this. I can't wait to read it. I'm sorry. Please continue.
I mean, I don't know. There's not much to continue about for the inspiration of ChainChamps. I feel like that's what just inspired it. It became a lot more after we started developing it and looking into the community for other things that we felt were missing from the wax space. And I feel like we just wound up with a relatively unique market that offers a lot of things that other people don't currently offer.
Right. So let me ask you this: what's your background? Your tech background? Am I correct in assuming you're a developer?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is. I've been working as a developer. I've been doing programming for like 20 years
Nice.
now. I started making like HTML3 websites when I was like 10 years old to help people understand like different ways you could cheat in video games, find glitches in video games. Like I had a really, really bad version of GameFAQs back when I was 10 years old, but it worked and it was on the internet, so that was pretty cool.
Interesting.
And I was making games back then when I was like 12, 13 too, and it just sort of spiraled into
Right.
doing that for most of the rest of my life at that point.
Yeah, excellent, man. I became a hobby coder like way late in life, but and I never did it professionally, really, because I'm afraid that it's gonna ruin it. Right, it's something I enjoy. Like I don't want to do that for a living, or maybe I do. I don't know. Anyways, what's your primary? What would you say is your primary coding language, or?
Whatever I need to know for what it is that I'm doing, honestly.
Yeah, that seems to be the overwhelming answer from experienced devs, man.
I was doing when I started out, I had I want to say like 10 years ago. I had a mobile consultancy based in Toronto, which focused on the first version of Android applications. And for that, you're using things like Java, because that's what you had to use on Android.
Yeah.
And we were porting things over from iOS because Android was a new thing. And that was sort of like our business model, right? Port a bunch of iOS applications over to Android. So for that, you also need to know Objective-C, which was what they were using for iOS applications back then before we started using Swift now. And it's just like the longer you work in development, there's not like one thing you focus on. You learn how to develop, and then you can sort of just adapt to whatever language is hopefully thrown in front of you. For the most part, there's caveats to that, but yeah.
Yeah, so we have a question from a courier right off the bat, and it was literally going to be the next thing, or one of the things that I asked. I know I've heard you say it on another interview that it was still very, very early in the lifespan of this collector score, but what can you tell us about it?
I can tell you that I've been promising a blog post for it for like 2 months now to explain to people what it is, and I just haven't had the time to do it, unfortunately. But the collection score is supposed to be an indication of the health of the collections that you're viewing on ChainChamps. So one thing that we don't do that every other marketplace does is we don't have a whitelist, and we don't have we have a bit of a blacklist, but we don't really have a blacklist. So the idea instead is that since we're on this giant decentralized platform where there's so much data about every person, every wallet, every project, every item, we look at that data and determine the health of a project instead, and we show those numbers, and we order projects by a collection score that we give to them instead. I think that it's a much better decentralized approach to let projects build their communities and have communities define whether or not a project is trustworthy. And there have also been situations where projects have rug pulled or fallen apart. And the collection score, when that happens, pretty much immediately goes to like 0 and disappears from ChainChamps altogether. So far, we're pretty happy with how it's working. There isn't a huge readable amount of information about exactly how it works. And we're probably going to keep it that way because we don't really want people to know how it works.
Right, because then you can manipulate it.
Exactly.
Right. Yes, I guess my one question would be there's a lot of things to look at when you're trying to do one of these types of scores, and I know this because we're working on one, not necessarily same, it's similar. It's more user focused to start, and there's so many variables. And so many things to look at. For example, like I think when ChainChamps first came out, wasn't Farmers World still ranked like really high?
On a collection score basis, yeah, it was ranked in the first iteration of collection scores. Farmers World was ranked pretty high, and Farmers World is still ranked like relatively high. I think it has a score of 70 right now if you search for it. But that's a complicated situation because, yes, I think that everybody can say that Farmers World is not what it was. The development team has largely abandoned it, and by most definitions, it's a rug pull. But there's still boatloads of Farmers World NFTs traded every single day. People are still buying them, selling them, and using the platform for whatever reason they may be doing it. But the point is that if you buy a Farmers World NFT and you buy it at something like our estimated value when it has a reasonable amount of liquidity, that project is still stable enough that you're probably going to be able to sell those NFTs, which is why it's still considered a healthy project by all data-driven standards. They're not meant to tell you like if you should invest in a project or anything, or if the project is going to stay there long term. It's talking strictly about what the health of the project is right now. I don't think Farmers World is going to become something amazing in the future, but if you look at the stats now and what's trading on Farmers World, it is surprisingly still relatively healthy.
Right. And then like I would look at this top 5 and I would say one of these is definitely a pump and dump scheme and doesn't belong here. So I'm not going to name names, but that's just what, like, personally looking at that, that's what I would say. And so how do you not address that, or
nope,
just let the
we're not
numbers
going to
speak for
address
themselves?
that, because at the end of the day, it's what people are buying and selling on Wax. It's what people are choosing to hold on to. I can think that something's a pump and dump scheme. I can think that something is going to rug pull, but it doesn't change the fact that based on the data right now, it's still a healthy project. It hasn't got to that phase yet. And we're not telling people what they should or shouldn't buy.
Right. Oh, on that note, we should pull up our little banner. This is not financial advice. A recurring ask is if KYC or know your customer and or anti-money laundering laws goes into the score.
So right now, Know Your Customer is not involved in the score, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Mostly because we don't believe that the Know Your Customer system, is particularly accurate at defining whether or not a project is going to rug pull, for example. There's so many examples of projects that have passed Know Your Customer, that have passed all of these different checks, that have still completely collapsed and done exactly what you would expect a Know Your Customer project not to do, for example. So the point of this score is to, again, strictly show what the data on chain is driving in terms of the project's health. It's not saying anything beyond that it has a healthy economy attached to it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was about to say.
It's passed a variety of checks.
Like I just have an issue with the word health and the way it's being used, or healthy in the way it's being used. But it's fine, you know.
No, I mean, if you have an issue with it, I'm happy to talk about it so that we can.
I don't think that
perhaps refine
one of those was
how
healthy.
We convey it.
I think volume is another word to use for a system set up to simulate market activity. I would question the wallets involved in the majority of that activity, and like kind of backtracking and getting somewhat of a holistic view of everything. Wow, this go live. I don't know that I've looked at it. I just caught it at like my peripheral. That thing moves, huh? Anyway, it's not something that I really necessarily wanted to debate. I appreciate the answer that you gave me. You're like, this is base numbers, black and white, nothing subjective. This is what you get, and I'm okay with I'm okay with that. That's fine. I feel like it just needs to be maybe a little more visible. That would be the only feedback that I would give. Like maybe if you hover, there's a tooltip that explains just that. But aside for that, I respect it. Stayed up.
Well, I will say again that there will be a tutorial and explanation for it coming
Nice.
soon. Hashtag 2 months later. I don't know when it's coming. I've been saying it for 2 months, but I will get to it eventually.
Yeah, so Rec asks, would it be fair to consider consistency over time? Say a low volume project that has existed for over a year and consistent numbers be ranked higher than a high volume, very new project. Interesting.
It depends, and it does take a while. And this is why we don't just call it volume or something else, because it's not based solely on volume. There are a lot of factors. Some of them are how long the project has existed. Some of them are how regularly the project releases updates. It does look at the, for example, last year of history and what the average sale numbers for that project are. It looks at which wallets are holding the project, and it factors in stats that were running on the wallets as well to determine if they're bot wallets, to determine if they're wallets that do kind of like things that we consider relatively sketchy. So it does look at like even which wallets are holding the project, for example. There's a lot of information baked into how we calculate it, and that's sort of why we came to the term health for it as well, because it's not just one thing. It is a lot of things that are going to the score.
Cool.
But to actually answer the question, it depends. Sometimes it will, sometimes it won't, and it's really difficult to predict. There are definitely some art projects that I recognize that sometimes beat out other projects, like Funkos, for example, as certain Funkos fall off. I can see Skunky Chunks is in the top, like, I want to say 20 just by eyeballing it. And it's beating out a lot of other things that I'd consider high volume collections. But I don't know. It's like it does its best, and we're constantly tweaking it. So.
Right. I think that that's something that is never finished. It's always going to be a work in progress. Awesome. Sandy, any questions so far?
No.
You're good?
I'm ready to get into the chimps. When we get to it.
The chimps.
I love the chimps. I got lucky on my chimp.
Is it a rare one or a low mint one?
Rare one. There are low mint ones?
Oh, yeah. They all have mint numbers.
Sandy, let me give you...
But aren't they all 101s?
No. They're X out of 1,000.
Alcy has so many chips.
Yeah.
Where did the idea to get to do a PFP come from, and why a PFP and why chimps?
Yeah, okay, that's a fair question. The idea to do a PFP project came from the fact that we made the PFP Maker. Nice. So what we kind of wanted to do is whenever we created a new unique feature, we wanted to sort of create a project or NFT that was associated with that. So we happened to be creating a PFP Maker, so it made sense to make some PFPs with it. We also had the idea to do a membership to sort of give more interesting features to people that supported ChainChamps. And we just wound up being like, okay, well, we're doing this PFP project. We might as, and PFP projects often don't have that much utility or use associated with them. So we might as well take our chimps and try to tie them to something that's a little bit more interesting to us.
Does this one count as rare?
That one is relatively rare for sure. I'd say it's probably in like the top 10%. I think anything over 100 is probably top 10%.
I was hoping. What's like the highest?
I want to say it's like 180 or something, but don't quote me on that because I don't remember. I know that I looked into it when we did the drop, but I've since completely forgotten. I know that like there's some with like lab coats and stuff, and those ones are super rare. The ones with the rainbow backgrounds are also super rare.
There's rainbow backgrounds?
There are rainbow backgrounds, yeah.
I'd have to scroll through a lot of changes.
You'll probably. I think there's only 10 with rainbow backgrounds, but you'll. Oh, there you go. Boom.
Hey,
you found one.
go.
And they see 145 on that one. So.
Yeah, even though the traits that it has other than that aren't super rare.
Totally mediocre, but yeah. There's a lab coat in there somewhere as well. I think there's also only 10 of the lab coats. But yeah, I think
I like these eye masks too.
I think that everything that's like over 100 is relatively rare, and over 170 is probably like top 20, I think.
Nice.
To answer that question, the brains are not like super rare. They're relatively rare. I think there's a decent number of brains, but the lab coats are there's only 10 of. We were really disappointed.
Is there a rarity breakdown for the items? Sorry to interrupt.
There is not a rarity breakdown for the items. No, that's probably something we could easily release though if there was interest in it.
Oh yeah, dude. What the? That's a good point, dude. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say it, but
dude, I called that out, dude. Good job, Rec.
Yeah, I appreciate that you called that out.
So what you can do is you can, in the search button, you can type in drops.champs, for example. In the nav bar, sorry. Drops.champs. And it should bring up the account, click it, boom, and then you can well, apparently it says object once you've searched. I'll fix that tonight. And then you can choose the ChainChamps collection.
Excellent.
You'll see them just like you do everywhere else.
So let me ask you, do you have a, it looks like you do, have a specific UI, UX developer this is just what they do? Or is it a kind of a mashup between the rest of the devs that kind of all do everything? Does that make sense? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think I understand the question. We do have a designer right now that works with us. We're in the process of moving from the designs that I originally made for ChainChamps and merging in pieces that they've developed. So if you like go to our settings page, for example, you'll see something that I developed and designed versus something like
settings page.
Oh, I think I've
See, this is a beautiful design by me design.
I did see this.
There's actually, we're doing a huge revamp of the entire design right now, and it's mostly completed. I'm happy to show that off if you want me to show
dude,
my
hell
screen
yeah.
at some point, but
yeah,
I'll just get that ready and
dude, that's fantastic.
But, a lot of it looks a lot better now that we have somebody helping us.
Dude,
design and everything. You should have seen it a year ago.
Oh yeah. It's all good. I've found that like super technical developers usually don't have the flair with the like the real super fancy UIs and UX, and it's that's all good, but you don't have to be the best at everything. The logic and the back end stuff is kind of blows me away. I'm not very good at that at all. I am very much right brained, so it's all good, man.
I mean, design is a whole nother thing. Like I could not. I don't even know if I could draw like a good looking stick man, to be honest. Here I am trying to make a website.
So speaking of art, who did the art for the chimps?
Yeah, the chimps were done by Mr. Bear from Shifty Bear. It's actually in all the metadata for them as well, I believe.
Nice.
So template, it's all in there too.
Can I see metadata? That was part of why I went to
Details.
Atomic Hub, to be honest. Details. I feel dumb that I've never thought to look there.
Yeah, all the data.
I'm just so used to right clicking on it and opening it in a new tab.
That's something else that we fixed in our design, because something in our redesign that are not obvious. Like, how do you see the details in an NFT? Silly things that we overlooked initially, but yeah, you can do a lot of that like that. So you can see designed by Mr. Bear from Shifty Bears. It was created with the ChainChamps PFP Maker. And when you're using the PFP Maker, these are all things that you can sort of easily throw onto the items that you're creating as well. Beyond just like all of the metadata that you generate with the PFP Maker, you can also include whatever information you want on the templates, so that you can perhaps call out the person that designed them for you.
That's cool. How used has the PFP Maker been?
It hasn't been used as much as I wish it had, considering it's a completely free to use item on Wax, and it even does like the IPFS spinning for you for free.
Say what?
Yeah, every PFP you make, we host them for free right now.
Sweet. Sandy, we gotta get on this, dude.
But I think
what?
We got to get on this. We need to use the PFP Maker to create a PFP collection that we then create a DAO for on Waxstat. Everybody we interviewed this week, we should just like hodgepodge the projects all together into
and do a giveaway.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, nailed it. Yeah. Nostalgeek has a question here. Are tokens for holding the chimps already airdropping?
Yes. Yeah, we've airdropped, I think, 3 rounds of tokens at this point. The next drop will be tomorrow. So if you haven't got a chimp yet, today is the perfect day to do it, because you'll be getting tokens for it tomorrow. But yeah, the first week we dropped 2 weeks worth of tokens to everybody for buying a chimp early, I suppose. That was nice. In the white paper. And then every week after that, you get another 2 chimp tokens, I believe.
Excellent.
Up to 50. How much is it per auto buy?
It's 1 token, just one.
1 token.
Yeah, so you have 50 auto buys lined up whenever you want to use them.
So
yeah, let's see. So can you talk a little bit about how the chimp works with the auto buy feature, or how the auto buy feature works itself? I made some for Funko, and I'm not sure I did it right.
Yeah, let's run through a Funko example, because they actually have more than one template. ChainChamps, we only have one template, so
let's do the A-Ledge.
Cool. Let's go with Series 1, yeah. And then you can see that you can basically browse through every single template that is there.
How does search work? So if I do like that, yeah.
And then it'll show you the rarity of them as well, so that you know that you're picking the right ang, for example.
I like that. So I don't have to like hover over it to see that. I can just see
it's just there. So there's a lot of different things that you can do with the auto buy rules. You can filter by template. That's the easiest way to do it. So if there's like a specific thing like the ang grail that you're looking for, then perfect. You found it. You can hit next. Then you can come up with a rule name. The rule name can be absolutely anything you want it to be. It's just there for your reference. So if you want to like recreate the rule later or delete it, you'll know what it was called. I hope the rest of it is self-explanatory, but
and for anybody else learning to do it, I'm going to put this here so that I'm going to go look at the market to see what I should even place this deal at. That could be something that would be nice to have, like a current floor or something.
Yeah, we've thought about putting that in. It's probably going to come in the future. I just can't tell you exactly when. But you'll see why that's not necessarily the easiest thing to do when we get into sort of more complicated rules. Apparently the search bar for you is giant right now. I don't know what's up with that, but on one of your windows it's massive, and on the other one it's a completely normal size. So it's the blog. I forgot. Yeah, so there's a bug where if you like start in the blog for whatever reason, the search bar becomes massive for the rest of your viewing experience on ChainChamps. Again, something that we have fixed in our redesign coming out in a couple of days. I think everything becomes massive when you started the blog, actually. For whatever reason, the blog breaks the CSS on the website. But refreshing it fixes it immediately. So if it ever bothers you.
I don't even have the wax to be doing this right now, but
well, that's okay, because when you first of all, you'll have to confirm the transaction before it goes live, and second of all, you have to deposit wax into the contract before it can actually buy anything for you anyway.
Oh, so I can create the rule first and then put the wax in?
Yeah.
I love that. I was definitely under the impression that's part of why I haven't done it yet, is because I didn't want to put wax up until I was ready to like fully learn it.
Oh yeah, no, you can create the rules, you can mess around with them. It will still take your chimp tokens though, so you've spent a chimp token, but
can I change it though?
No. Once you've created a rule, it's done. The reason is that we don't want people to be able to edit them after they've created them, because then you can sort of like just mess with other people realistically, and it just.
Oh, and your auto buy only lasts 3 days. Interesting.
They last 3 days right now.
Well,
so
I probably just wasted a chimp token, but it's all good.
You have 50. I think you'll
I'll survive. Yeah.
But there's other ways that you can create rules as well that are more interesting, I think. Going for one template is cool, but there's a lot more that you can do with it. So if we want to create another rule, and you don't have to actually create this one if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So I can go.
Let's go back to Funko. Let's go back to Avatar Funko or something. And we'll pick series 1, I suppose. So now don't pick a template. Just ignore that part. Hit next instead. And you don't need to pick a template. So you can go for a rule that's based on the schema instead. So you picked the series 1 schema, right? So now you can enter a rarity or a mint range, or both if you want to. So if you wanted to automatically buy any epic Avatar Funko, for example, that falls below like $5, you could set up a buy limit for 10 of those. You set the price at $5 USD. And then any epic that happens to go onto the market from that schema, it'll pick up for you at $5 or less, whatever it winds up being, Similarly, if you want to have a mint range, so if you want to buy any Funko between like 1 and 100, then you can set that rule up instead as well without a rarity. Oh, with or without a rarity. You can do it with a rarity. You can do it without a rarity. It doesn't matter. So if you wanted any Funko that's say like mint 1 to 100, you would type mint range 1 to 100, no rarity selected, and it would buy any Funko for you that's listed between mint range 1 and 100. If you wanted to buy an epic between 1 and 100, that's what this rule here would do. And similarly, if you just wanted to buy any rare that falls below, any epic that falls below a certain price, you would just remove the mint range.
And it'll work for the number of purchases I have put here, right?
Yes, and you can purchase up to 10 per rule.
So for Alcie's question here, would I put like 420 in the lower, and then 420 also in the high in the upper, and then?
Yeah, so I think there was also another question about the mint range going. Yeah, that one. I think this might be a little, maybe we need to refine the verbiage here, but the range cannot be bigger than, the range has to be below 100. And what I mean by that is that the actual range has to be 100. So you could choose 420 to 420 and that would work. You couldn't do 420 to 521. You can only select a mint range of up to 100. The range can be 100. So like words are tough sometimes when it comes to explaining numbers and how they work. But you could go for 666 if you wanted. You could go for 420 if you wanted. You cannot do 1 to 20,000, and there has to be a cap on it. And the reason we did that as well is so that you couldn't like choose like farmers coins or something and then overload our servers by trying to buy anywhere from mint to like 1 to 62 million or whatever it is.
Right.
It's probably way beyond 62 million. But.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
That's why that limit exists. And I feel like most people aren't going to go for ranges that are more than 100 anyway. So
right.
Hopefully it works.
That's a good question. Could you do a comma list? So
No.
like,
You cannot do that right now. Could we add that in the future? I don't see why not.
So I would see why not. Those are highly sought after, and I feel like if you are going to, you make it more than like it should be more than one rule. I think personally, like if you're going for 169, 420, 66, like all of them,
Yep.
like yeah, that's
So here's the thing about it.
who
though,
wouldn't
right?
do that on all
Is
of
that
them.
I mean, because you still have to have the highest bid, right? So if one person decides to go for those mints specifically, that's fine. I see no issue with that whatsoever. If somebody else also wants to go for those mints specifically, they need to go for those mints with a higher buy price. So it's the person that winds up having the highest buy price that actually gets the first opportunity to buy something as it comes onto the market. So if only one person wants to get the mint number one and wants to create a rule for the mint number one with like a $10 USD cap on it, they can do that. But then if somebody else comes around and says, hey, I'm willing to pay $15 for that, they'll get the first shot at it.
I see.
I never even noticed there's a liquidity thing here. That's really cool. It's just like liquidity, higher, lower.
And by default, the deals page only shows high and very high, but you can choose to show different ranges of liquidity in the filters on the left. And as you get lower in liquidity, the estimates become less reliable because, quite frankly, nobody is buying or selling these items for the most part. Sorry, nobody's buying these items. You probably don't want to. I mean, maybe you want to buy that. I'm not going to tell you what to buy. But
I mean,
basically,
I don't play Million on Mars enough, but it seems like a good deal, and I like Million on Mars.
Well, that's the issue with. That's why we only show high and very high liquidity by default on this page. Because as you get lower in liquidity, while things seem like deals, the issue is that nobody's actually buying those NFTs. So while it may, in theory, be a deal based on the last sale or based on what else is available for listings, it's not going to be a great deal if you're trying to flip it and there's nobody there to actually buy it at the price. You know?
Sure. Yeah.
So that's why it defaults to high and very high initially.
Looks like it's getting dumped a little bit.
Yeah, and you can filter by those as well because there are sometimes low liquidity items that you do want to buy. So I once got a showroom Hot Wheels from Series 2, I think. I got it for like $200 USD, but most people probably didn't see the deal pop up because it at the time had very low liquidity. There weren't many people buying the showrooms because there weren't that many showrooms to begin with. And because I knew what I was sort of looking for, and I know not to buy most low liquidity items, I was able to snag a Hot Wheels showroom for $200 when they were going for $800 instead. That's
why I chose to snag this, is just because I know this item and I know it's been higher before, so I have faith in the project. So while I was there, I figured I'd buy something on stream.
All right, well, best of luck in your endeavor in flipping your expert life science tools.
I'll probably use it in game, not flip it.
Well,
I've been wanting more expert tools that are below what they've been trading for, so it works.
Perfect. So there you go. That's what the deals page is for.
I like it.
That exact scenario.
It's a good place to just like browse.
Yeah, and
artwork is a good point too for low liquidity.
Yeah, absolutely. If you are looking for deals on that, but I would strongly suggest just using the live page and having some filters set up. So if you check out the live page, and this is another thing, like when I said that we have a bunch of unique features on Wax, I don't think that any other marketplace actually works the way that our marketplace works in any sense of the word, because you can choose as many collections as you want when you're setting up live filters or when you're going to the market page. You can.
I've literally never known this. This just blew my mind.
Yeah,
I love that.
Just on stream earlier, I realized that you could do a multi-select, which is super awesome. Yeah,
you can do it on the market tab as well. You can do it on the deals tab, but like there aren't that many deals for each collection, so it usually leaves like an empty page. But you can And then you have a live feed for all of the collections that you want to see items coming in from.
So without giving away any trade secrets, is there anything that you can tell us about the underlying technology that you are either proud of or feel like you're innovating or trailblazing, etc.?
I mean, I think that we're just looking at what's available and trying to use it in ways that make sense to us, right? I don't know that there's anything like truly amazing or unique about what it is that we're using from a technology standpoint. Like most of our stuff is designed from scratch, but we leverage pieces of things that exist. So like every other market uses the same atomic API basically.
Or do you guys run your own?
We run our own nodes. We run our own API. We have a bunch of extensions and different things that we've done to make it more, to make it fit a little bit better with our vision of how a marketplace should work.
Yeah.
So we leverage existing technology. We built a bunch of other technology to give the unique experience that we want to give. But I think a lot of it just comes down to having a vision for what we want the marketplace to look like, and then doing that instead of trying to do the same thing that everyone else is doing.
Right. Yeah.
And that's one of my biggest problems with like marketplaces in the Web3 space in general, is that if you look at like Ethereum marketplaces or Wax marketplaces or Solana marketplaces, they all largely look and function exactly the same way. And it drives me crazy that we're not trying to innovate the marketplace. I'm not saying we're amazing or anything, just that I want everything to be different with the ChainChamps, not the same.
How do I filter from lowest to highest?
You don't on the live page because it's live. So it's just...
there used to be a way to do that?
You can do it on the market page.
So
but
if
it's not live, like it has the 10-second delay?
It has a 10 to 15 second delay sometimes, but yeah. No, you can't filter. You can't order things on the live page because they're just coming in one after the other, right? So it doesn't. It's not like the most feasible thing to do,
right?
But if you want to just find the lowest priced item, that's what like things like the market page are for.
Yep. Were we going to take a look at? What were we going to look at? The PFP Maker, Sandy? Have we looked at that or touched on it or anything yet? No, right?
I had it open in one of these tabs. I don't know where I put it.
Yeah, then I can.
I will put this in here though.
So what do I need for the PFP Maker? Just art and an idea, and that's it?
Pretty much. You have to sign a transaction, which is basically creating your account for the PFP Maker. So it'll just ask you for like a random number basically from the RNG contract, and then that effectively creates your account in our database so that we can hold on to your images for you and not store them publicly.
Yeah, and
so this won't do anything weird if I sign this, right?
It absolutely will not do anything. It actually doesn't even get broadcast to the blockchain.
Sweet.
But you can obviously look at all the transactions that you're about to sign before you sign them.
Sure.
Also, I kind of feel what Willowbard's saying here. Like, really want ChainChamps to succeed, but also don't want to tell people because it's awesome and lets us get stuff for cheaper.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest problems we faced, honestly, is that
like it's so good that people don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, there were lots of people, like when Farmers World was big and back in the day, lots of Farmers World like whales were using ChainChamps to buy their stuff cheap, and they refused to tell anybody else about it, despite the fact that they were making hundreds of dollars a day or thousands of dollars a day.
Right. Yeah.
It sucks, but it's also cool at the same time. So I don't know. We'll try to solve that problem one day, but for now it is what it is.
Yeah. So you said earlier that you are hosting the IPFS images.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that you're running an IPFS node as well.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep.
Amazing. And
that's where all the images
is it all in the cloud? Or what?
We have a bunch of dedicated servers for it.
Okay, cool.
So they are like, they're not like in my house or something. We pay for them.
Sure.
But we're not using like AWS like cloud services or anything like that.
Right. It would be super expensive. All right. So I can just name my project. Is this immutable? Is this forever? Am I going to see this project show up in weird places if I name it something stupid now? Or
Only when you go to the PFP Maker.
Like if I do this here, I'll be the only one who sees this,
You will
right?
be the only one that sees it. Yes.
Okay.
Well, and everybody else that's watching.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
Sam,
but it's not going to be
Selfies.
stuck on the blockchain.
No.
Nobody's going to think I'm actually doing this.
No.
You're not.
There are.
I don't think anybody wants to buy my selfies. But
so says you.
if I get enough encouragement, I guess I will. I don't think I have enough selfies to even sell them. I don't take pictures of myself.
I think there's only one specific point where it can like wind up being on the blockchain. It gives you a warning before that happens as well. So everything that you do is completely you. So you can basically, if you have images for your PFP collection already, you can.
Yeah. So I guess my next question, right? So let's say that like I have an idea and I have all the tools to create the art, but I've never created a PFP collection before. And so I'm guessing that you need layered PNGs, but I don't know that for certain. Where do I go to figure that out?
I mean, you do need layered PNGs. That is true. Our tutorial tries to explain that to you, but it's sort of for the designer that has right now. And again, like we want to create better tutorials and more tools as we go. But right now, I think you sort of have to. Oh yeah, so there's. I'll explain why that's happening to you in a second. But
did I size the image wrong?
No, we've been having this issue with Cloudflare recently where they're blocking images that are over like a megabyte for some strange reason. And we're trying to resolve that with them right now. But if the image is like over a certain size, it will just like be blocked by Cloudflare. So what I can do right now, if it makes it easier, is I can run through a demo of creating.
Yeah. Let's do that. That's
set up. So just give me a second and I will pull up the correct screen for myself. And we can show off a little bit of.
So what you probably would be beneficial is, God, did you guys hear that? That was Telegram. You'll never hear it on my computer because it's never open because it shouldn't be. Nobody should use Telegram.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Telegram person.
Thank you for the giveaway, Alcy. Everybody, Alcy's running a ChainChamps rule giveaway. Go ahead and type that in the chat. You'll be entered. And we started this at what? At the top of the hour, Sandy? Yeah, top of the hour.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to make that full screen for us. There you go. Boom. Okay, so this is part of like our new design so far, and we'll get to the PFP creator in a second. It's a little bit more broken up into like different sections so that you can navigate a little bit easier. You can see your balances for things like Wax and Chimp on here now as too. And we just feel like we've streamlined a lot of things with how everything looks. The search bar makes a little bit more sense now. Lots of people have complained about our mobile design too, so you can. Did it just disappear?
Yeah, I think you closed it.
I did not. It's still open on my screen.
What?
That's weird. So let's reshare my screen again.
Yeah, how did that happen? Sandy, give me an idea.
Hmm?
Do you know how that
let's try this again.
Disappeared?
Okay, there it is. Are we seeing it again? We're seeing it again. Cool. So I'll create a PFP at this point. I'm waiting for Wax Cloud Wallet to sign my transaction for me. You can't see it, but I can. So let's go with Test Chimps 2.
Mostly Monthly asked about viewing tutorials, so I just wanted to add that. Should I say Jazz? Is that right? Yeah. Jazz has, I guess, articles. Is that what you call them at the bottom of the ChainChamps homepage, where you can find out about the different utilities and how to use them?
Sorry, I'm just changing my I'm changing over here. I was showing you the like local version of the website with the new updates, and my test projects aren't on there. There you go. Here's all of the test projects that we can show you.
Nice.
Sorry, what was the question? I
just where you have tutorials to view.
So the tutorials are in our blog section. That's going to be easily accessible through the new design. I think there's only one way to get to the blog right now, and that is by going down to the very bottom of the homepage, which is where the tutorials are. But again, hopefully in the new navbar design, we'll see it'd be a little bit easier for people to find that content. So here I have like a project where I've already set up a bunch of the different traits. So you can see like I've uploaded 5 different ChainChamp base items. I can go in and I can edit what I want the weight of that particular item to be. Weights are all relative, and it'll show you what the actual odds are of that piece being ruled once you've changed the weight. So let's say we want to make the purple one a little bit more common. We bump the weight up to 3. Update, and now 42.86% of chimps will wind up with the purple as the base. And you can do limited traits as well. So if you only want there to be like 5 purple chimps, for example, you can create a limited trait and say, I only want 5 of these to exist. And it'll make sure that there are exactly 5 of those when you wind up generating your project. And then you can create as many layers as you want. So our chimps have a base layer, they have eyes, they have a mouth. We can upload a new layer if we want to. I can do that. I can try to do that. Let's see if it works. If I have any chimps to upload right now. What comes after? What do I have? Eyes, mouth. Then we can do a shirt. Let's upload some shirts. Let's see if that works. Okay, boom, and then there's all of our shirts. We can create the layer and hope that it works. It does. And it uploads each one of those as fast as it can. It's uploaded them all done, and then we can go and look at our shirt layer. And it's automatically created, it's automatically uploaded that folder with the names that you used in the folder. It assumes that everything has the same weight. So if you want some things to be a little bit different in terms of weight, you have to go in and edit that yourself because there's no way to know that when you're uploading a file. But now we have a base, eyes, mouth, and shirt. And we can go and preview a chimp. We hit randomize, and it should create a new image for us. I don't think I hit save, so it doesn't have the shirts yet. So let's hit save and then try again. And it doesn't want to do the shirts right now, but I promise you most of the time it works. Oh, wait, I know exactly why. It's because I didn't actually tell it to add any shirts. So right now we have 0 shirts in total. So we have to tell it how many shirts we actually want there to be. So for example, if you want to have naked traits, so if you want some chimps not to have a shirt, you would set this to 20 out of 25 instead, and then you wind up with 5 naked. Okay, that makes sense. I forgot a step, and then we'll create a couple. We'll try this again, and there you go, boom, shirt in the preview.
Nice.
You just can create as many as you want to make sure that it's working the way that you expect it to work. And whenever you're done, you can go and hit the generate button. It'll give you a little bit of a warning. And this is when it will create all of the actual images for you. It'll pin them all to IPFS. And then you can step back and go and create your drop or your collection. If you don't have a collection, there's other creation tools as well, which we can see if we go back to the local version.
So what's the size, the resolution of those PNGs? And I'm assuming
it's based on whatever you upload. So whatever the base, if you want to do 1,000 by 1,000, you can do that. If you want to do,
and you need to have so they all need to be uniform with like, I guess, negative empty space, right? So that's how they line them up perfectly, I would imagine. I mean, that's how I've done it.
That's exactly how you do it.
Okay, cool. Good. Then I think that I could probably throw this together. Maybe I'll try. Do you have a test net? That's a good question.
Yeah, so you can do that too. So if you go into the dashboard, which is where you have to go when you are, you'll see this button here that says use testnet. So you click that, and then you see all your collections on testnet. I'm not logged into testnet right now, so it's not going to work for me. But you can log into testnet and then mint all of your PFPs to testnet first. And then you'll be able to come back and import them into your main collection instead.
Can you move it between the to where you don't have to go remake everything again for mainnet?
Yeah, I think. Jesus Christ, do you hear that thunder?
That was pretty loud.
Yeah, and
that was super loud. I thought that was on my end.
Yeah, dude. Yes,
So
and that's what the import does, right?
Yeah, and you can import it into one collection on both mainnet and testnet. So if you can import into your testnet collection, you can import into your mainnet collection. You won't have to do anything else to.
Neat.
Awesome.
I don't know if I can show this. Oh wait, I forgot I'm not logged in, so I can't show it to you because I'm again on my local demo right now. But you can also create drops here as well. So if you want to set up a drop on ChainChamps, you can do that too.
Nice.
But yeah, that's the very basic creation tools we offer. We're going to be expanding that a lot in the near future. We offer pre-minted drops right now. We offer mint-on-demand drops right now. We offer, we'll be offering packs in the very near future.
Nice.
And again, with the way that we do things, it's a little bit different in how you can sort of set up your drops.
Right. Which is great because I know from a using up your resources or what good are you putting your resources to? Tools that already exist and are already widely used, unless they're significantly better or innovated on, I feel like it's a waste of time and energy. Like, why are you competing with somebody who in a space where there's so much still not done? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I feel like that's
so
the philosophy that drives this.
Yeah, hell yeah. If you were to do drops on ChainChamps, are IPFS hosted also? I get what they're asking. Now, do you need to? So I think a lot of people have learned to use tools like Pinata.
Yep.
And then paste the hash into the image field wherever they're creating that NFT at. So I think what Mount Doomy is asking is, does the IPFS node that you guys are using, is it do the same thing when you set up drops for any images there?
It does not right now, no. So our IPFS free hosting is limited to the PFP Maker right now. If you have a drop that you want to set up, you still need to provide hosting for that elsewhere, like you do with everything else, unfortunately. Are we going to start offering that? Potentially. We just want to make sure that it's not easily abused. So like with the PFP Maker, we have a lot of steps in place to make sure that we're only creating and pinning PFPs fairly. And when you sort of open up minting and NFT creation and drop creation, it becomes a little bit easier to mess with this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I sure did. All right. I'm gonna get some Crittercraft set up because we're at right about yeah, dude. And I think we're a little backed up on getting our tickets out to the previous winners, but Mount Doomy is going to help us distribute all of those tickets, and TD is going to code a automation system because he learned that's the way to do it. All right. You're not wrong. I did think of how I would go about doing that and how much better it would be. Yeah, it's always just a time thing, Have they figured out how to clone people yet and then speed up their growth rate so that you can just have another you to boss around?
I give it a year or two.
Yeah. Hey, how would you treat your clone self? It's a funny thing to ask and think of, like, would you be nice to them and ask them nicely, or would you be an awful, terrible you know.
Well, how would they treat you?
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
I think he's mostly asking, would you make them do all of the shit tasks?
Yeah.
Or would you live as equals?
Well, what I'm saying is that if you wanted to make them do all of the shit tasks, what makes you think that a clone of you, would be willing to do them if you aren't willing to do them yourself?
Was it a Black Mirror? I don't remember.
I created them. They do as told.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like mine wouldn't, you know, eating at the same time as me and not be able to look me in the eyes directly. And kidding. Let's see. Oh, it was. Yeah. I'm the original. Yeah, mine would probably pull a Westworld. You'll have to send me that one more cheesy. I don't remember seeing that one, or which one you're talking about. So, Jazz, what is your favorite thing to do when you're not deving and chain champing?
Maybe sleep. Sleep is pretty good. I enjoy sleeping a lot. That's always fun.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think playing video games like everybody else is a good way to pass the time.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite genre of games? Is that a word? Is that how you say it? How do you say it, Sandy? You know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah. Are you asking if he's into like MMORPGs, FPS games?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to ask.
I don't know that I have a favorite genre per se. I know that when I start enjoying something, I go pretty like hardcore into it. I used to be a professional Counter-Strike player. I played in major tournaments and things like that when I was younger. I also very briefly for like season 1 and season 2, I was like top 50 in North America for League of Legends. I was on a team with this guy named Afro Moo. I'm not sure if anybody, I don't even know if he's still playing in the LCS, but he was in the LCS on CLG for many, many years. We used to have a team back in the day. So,
nice.
I just play anything that I enjoy playing and that I feel like I can get good at. So that's sort of
what do you hate playing?
I think that's just like such a broad question. Games that suck.
What's one game you'll never touch again?
League of Legends.
League of Legends.
Yeah.
It is too toxic for me at this point in my life.
Is Madden a game?
Is Madden a game? Yes, I think Madden is a game. Is it a game that I would spend my time playing? No, because I'm not much of a football fan, but I definitely like have played like many NHL games over the course of my life before.
So playing those makes you a gamer, right? You would be a gamer if you play Madden and that's it, or NBA 2K and that's it.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Who am I to gatekeep what makes you a gamer?
Sandy gatekeeps.
That's fine. I get
he's not a gamer.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But
I think that if you can sit down and enjoy a video game, whether it be a sports game or an FPS game or an RPG, then you're enjoying yourself. Who's to say that you don't deserve to call yourself a gamer?
If you played like FIFA and Madden, I'd say yes, you're a gamer.
I played 2K and Madden.
Oh, you played 2K? Okay.
Yeah, dude.
I guess I lose this argument then.
I have both of them.
So as soon as you play more than one sport game, you're a gamer.
Okay,
yeah, but if you only play one sport game, I don't know. I think that's where I draw the line.
All right.
Yeah. Now, is there a time commitment to be considered a gamer? I would say so. Or is it just skill based? Like if, let's say, I've never played a game like, I don't know, Forsaken, and then I play it and I'm just like the best and I can beat everybody every time except the creator of the game. And does that make...
You've only played one other person.
Does that make you a gamer? Or is the time investment? I guess that's what I'm asking. Is the time investment a criteria? I
mean, for me, it's just somebody that sits down and wants to enjoy playing a video game on a regular basis to some degree, right? I think that's all you need to do. But
Elsie's got my bag.
I feel like there's a lot of people with significantly more strict definitions than I have. It's a very opinionated subject.
regular basis. Yeah. All right. Let me throw my our beautiful timer up there. And you guys have any questions for Jazz? If you haven't joined their Discord, let me drop that link. You guys have a vanity URL by chance?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Our Discord isn't particularly large at the moment, but we do post things that are relatively consistently.
You know what? Like, of all the social media venues that we have, Discord is by far the smallest, and I don't know. I respect that. Like, I don't want to go into a Discord where there's 5,000 people, and when you ask a question, 30 seconds later, it's not even on the first page anymore, and because I feel like people don't really scroll. They'll read what they can see and move on. And I feel like we have a pretty solid group of people because of that, because we never put any effort into non-organic growth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I completely agree with that approach, and I also feel like I'm guilty of not scrolling up to read things in the past. So the less there is going on, the better.
I'm guilty of that pretty much every time. I like to scroll all the way down to the bottom, realize I'm doing things wrong, and then scroll back up and be like, okay, what do I actually need to do?
I'm one of the worst skimmers that there are out there as far as reading. Shit, I didn't join this. God damn it.
Our audio.
Yeah, my bad.
Good. I'm gonna put some music on in the background.
Bet, yeah.
Excuse me.
Have you ever taken a look at any of the other EOSIO NFT standards out there? I think when we both came in, there were simple assets, which was basically like Colobox and Our Planet Elements.
Yep.
And there was a simple market, place where you can go and exchange those. And then the Our Planet FUD basically crushed that. And I mean, I'm sure it's still used. I haven't been to it in forever. I went back and looked at it. It's not being updated or developed. You can just tell everything's the same. And I don't know. Basically, I would say that the atomic acid standard just had got first mover advantage and just absolutely dominated. But they're not the only EOSIO standard that there is. There are two others, probably more, two that I know of. One being one called Marble, which is kind of interesting, but it looks like it's lost its development. Actually, neither one of them have much activity anywhere. Like, you look at the GitHub, you look in the page, the documentation, and there's not much there. But the other one is D-Goods, which is Mythical Games, which I believe is the creator of Blankos and NFL Rivals. And that standard's used by Upland, which is a very significantly large game on EOS. And so I don't know. I think maybe another standard might come along at some point. And if it did, would you guys be open to bringing them into your marketplace?
I mean, I, of course, would be potentially open to bringing anything into the marketplace that was wax-based right now. I think that creating another standard is just something that's very difficult to do.
Right,
because
yeah.
Everybody wants to just have, like, what they're used to.
Sure, yeah. Well, without a doubt,
right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have some like established brand or game or company that's sort of diving into it, it's going to be really hard to.
Right, for sure.
But yeah, no, I mean, I support the idea of having other standards.
Yeah.
Just
I guess
don't
that's what
really
I was
see it
asking.
happening anytime soon. That's all.
No,
But
no.
I could be wrong. I can be proven wrong, obviously.
Yeah, it would have to be somebody with deep pockets and the ability to just move everything out of their way, right? With money.
Yeah, and I feel like there also has to be a good reason to do it. And I feel
Right.
like there aren't many good reasons to do it other than, oh, I want the 2% instead or something, because atomic assets is pretty solid for
Yeah.
what it's built for.
Yeah. So I don't even know if like ERC had there's just like the original NFT standard and that's it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not huge on the EVM stuff anymore, but like the NFT standard came along and then that was it, like 721 or whatever it was.
There's a couple of variants on it that are all pretty not like as common, obviously, but there are multiple ERC standards for NFTs. There's 721. There's like 1155. I think.
Yeah. Well, so there are multiple, but like I guess my question is being used, right? Because there's multiple of all chains, I'm sure.
Well,
but like what's being used? Like, is it still just is ERC 721 the same as atomic acids on its respective chain?
I mean, in terms of popularity, sure. It obviously doesn't work in even similar way. I think ERC 1155, which is like a little bit more similar to what we have on the Wax, is pretty common on the Ethereum space. It's not like as huge as 721, but it's definitely like that's sort of like what you do for like semi-fungible tokens. I think they call 1155 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which is largely what we have here, right? Where you have X out of like 10,000, but they're all the same, but they're slightly different because they have different numbers. That's what 1155 is, I think.
Yeah, look at Rack dropping the fucking knowledge bombs, dude. Thank you. So ERC20, we know what that is. 721 and like a deed of ours. Interesting. 777. Read, write, execute.
But yeah, I'm not like as big into the technical side of the sort of EVM side of things as I am on Wax. So I'm definitely not an authority on how the standards there work, but there's definitely like more than just 721 that people use.
Cool.
But I feel like a lot of the reason why there's multiple standards there that you are all commonly used is because they all solve slightly different problems.
Right.
But atomic assets already solves all of those problems by itself.
Right.
Largely,
Yep.
Right. So.
Yep.
I just realized I went to open something else on another screen, and the thicker bar at the top is happening to other sites too.
Huh.
Strange.
Either that or my computer's just struggling with sites right now.
All right. Does our audience have anything for Jazz before we let him go? If so, ping your question into the chat. We'll ask it up. We got Nostalgeek in the audience. What up? I needed to ask you something. I don't remember what it was.
I mean, we have, I think, one other key feature that we didn't quite touch on as well when we were talking about ChainChamps, which is our pack simulator. I think that's
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Truly unique thing that we have going on over there. But
I can get it pulled up, TD. Oh, you can keep the grub fish going.
Yeah, I'll knock this one out, and then that's a good point, Rack. About
that's under packs, right?
Yeah, it's under packs.
Standard being able to be updated.
guess while I'm talking about ChainChamps as well, there's some other like small things that I think are really awesome that make the experience a little bit better.
Sure.
Because we let you select multiple collections at the same time. Something cool that you can do is you can also sell from multiple collections at the same time, and you can mass list items. So if you have, for example, a bunch of Funkos and you want to select all of your Funko collections, you can mass list from like all of your different Funko sets at the same time. So if you have a bunch of Avatar Funkos, a bunch of TC Funkos, and you only want to sell like your duplicates over mint 100, for example, you can do that all in one transaction, which I don't think you can do anywhere else right now.
How do you, just by selecting them within your assets?
Yep. So there's a tick box that you can use to mass select items. And again, you start by selecting all of the collections that you want. You set whatever filter you want, and it makes it significantly easier to mass list from multiple collections than I think you can anywhere else. Something else I also point out from time to time is that with our mass listing tools, you can also automatically price your items in USD. And this is one of those like super silly, trivial things, but like when I mass list on any other website, if I want to list in USD, I largely can't do it without typing in the numbers myself. I think Atomic Hub lets you mass list in USD, but you have to enter the numbers yourself. If you use the auto price, it automatically switches back to wax. I think NFT Hive only lets you mass list in wax, if I'm not mistaken, unless that's changed in the last month. So if you want to mass list your items in wax, in USD, bulk list in USD, you can use ChainChamps to do that.
It's good to know. And with the duplicate search too, because I do a lot of like my mass stuff on NFT blocks, just because I can do like the select whole page thing and get through all of them really quickly. But they don't have like an only duplicates button.
Yeah, I don't think we have a select all button yet for the page, but I am going to be adding that in the very near future. But you have to select everything and then press the transaction. But I think that only duplicates and showing you multiple collections at the same time is pretty.
I agree. Yeah, because an NFT, I guess you could do like where you see all of your NFTs, but it's a lot different than being able to say like just your Funkos. I think that was a perfect example for that.
Yeah, I use that example because I know that people do it. That's specifically why I use that example, because I know it's useful.
Damn, the same people that were streaming at the end of our last stream, which was
still
streamed 2 hours ago. Are we doing this wrong? Are we streaming for too short of a time frame, Sandy? It's interesting. Did we need to put your screen up here, right?
Oh, I was just looking at NFT Hive and showing you that you can only list in wax there versus over here. We'll get to Pack Simulator in a second. I forgot that I haven't made this work yet. Oh wait, no, I'm already on the page. It doesn't take you to a new page if you happen to already be on that page, because I absent-minded like that sometimes. If I do this, boom, TMNT, so then we can take all of those, only show duplicates. I actually don't know how many duplicates I have, but okay, only shows. I have a bunch of Scotties, I guess, and then you can bulk sell, boom, and then all USD, and then you can do 1% below all EV. And this is one of those stupid little things that like you can't do anywhere else for some reason. But if you choose all USD on Atomic Hub and then you choose like 1% below or all EV, it automatically goes to wax. Here you can select all USD and it keeps it in USD. It's crazy how that works.
I didn't even know that you could do that on Atomic Hub. When did they add that? I guess the last update.
You've been able to do that for a long time. I think as long as I can remember, honestly.
Bulk list on Atomic Hub.
As soon as they added the little check mark. Yeah.
You've been able to do it for a while. But don't, because you can do it on ChainChamps instead, and it's much better here.
I don't, because I don't. I'm a serial hodler, but
I don't, because I can't filter the way I want to.
Yeah, that's
well. Now you can.
Yeah, I like that. I liked how I could still see like where I could select multiple collections and still be able to see the different attributes from each of them. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it dumps all of the attributes, so you can still filter exactly how you want if you need to, and it'll sort of like cross over. So if like there's something in common, so like if you have a rarity slot and different multiple collections have common, you just have to select common once, and it'll show you all the commons and all the collections.
Like for Funko, you could hunt all the grails at the same time.
Yep, absolutely. You can choose all the Funko collections, pick grail, and you'll see all the grails from all the different collections. And then
yeah, we go to the simulator.
Yeah, last but not least, we have our beautiful pack simulator, and we can, again, I'll just go with Funko because it's an easy one that looks good that everybody knows. And you can simulate your Funko packs. So we recently had the premium Avatar Legends. And the way this works is a little bit different for Funko than everything else. So people may or may not know this, but Funko doesn't have their pack openings and odds on chain. They do that all internally amongst themselves. So we basically just read the odds from the descriptions of the packs and then simulate those, and we assume how the system works. So the Funko pack simulation is our best estimate at how it works. But for every other pack on the website, so if you go to any other pack that's populated, of course I searched Funko, so I'm only going to see Funko. But if you go to any other pack that exists, so actually I haven't tried the Butcher packs yet. It might take a second.
I just got a pack with 2 grails and a legendary. Doing I wish that had been a real pack.
That's kind of insane, honestly. What's another? Just give me a name of a pack. What pack can I search up here that we all know and like?
Taco packs.
Pick taco packs on here. And taco. Pick a taco.
Yeah, the Epic Ingredients is a good pack, or any of the ingredient packs.
Epic Ingredients. Okay, boom. So that just gives us that. So when you have
Metaphors. We could do Metaphors packs.
We could do Metaphors. Actually, do we have Metaphors? We do have Metaphors. Which ones have more than one item in them? Let's see if the music pack has more than one item.
I feel like all of them.
All right, this one seems to have more than one item in it. Although I know nothing about this, so we have four rectangles, but they all seem to be slightly different rectangles. They have different names. But the point is that these simulated packs all work off the contracts that are on chain, so we don't make anything up, basically, and they also look through the pools that exist. So if something is pulling from a pre-minted pool, it will only simulate and show you items that are still in that pool. So we look at the contracts directly, and then we just run the odds against how the contract is supposed to work, basically, and show you what those packs could potentially contain. So actually, Hot Wheels.
It's giving you. It's not made up data. It's accurate.
No, it's all accurate to the chain. So like these Hot Wheel packs, for example, this is all based on the odds that they actually have listed on the chain, and it's actually only looking at what's left in the pool. So in the case of Hot Wheels, I'm pretty sure everything is left in the pool, but there have been situations where I think, with Moonstones, the game, I think on another stream, someone like Burst was going through the packs and the pools, and there were only like 50 different unique Moonstone characters left in the game. And those were the only characters you would see pop up in our pack simulator because it was looking directly at the pool. So you knew exactly what you could have a chance of getting, rather than showing you everything that was potentially in the pack at one point in time, or just show you all the comments or everything. So
yeah, that wasn't explained to me correctly.
I like the stats on the left side too, where it shows the pack contents and what possible prices you could get out of it and what its estimated value is cool.
Yeah, well, the average value for a pack right now seems like it's either really low or the average value of these Hot Wheel packs is really bad. But it does seem to be correct because we are only seeing like $1 packs every time we open one right now. They're just rare base. So yeah. Oh, and I guess you have to like hit really big to make your money back on these right now.
Yeah, you got to get a premium, pretty much.
The Funko packs in particular, like you can often see when it's worth opening the Funko packs if you're interested in just playing the odds. So like it'll show you when you're browsing through the packs as well, like immediately what the EV and the AV is. So the AV is the average value and the EV is the value of the pack. So in the case of these avatar packs right here, you'll see the EV is $46. That means people are selling the packs for $46 right now. But on average, you'll only pull $40 worth of NFTs in the packs. And you'll see with the Jay and Silent Bob premium packs right now, the average value is actually a little bit above the estimated value. So if you open a bunch of them, you'll probably make on average $4 per pack. But that's when you open like a lot of packs. So don't assume that because the AV is higher, that means that you'll get that, just that if you open a bunch of packs on average, you will make more money than you spent on the packs currently for Jay and Silent Bob premium packs. So get on it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just scroll through every pack that exists, basically, that has been created on NFT blocks or with Atomic Hub's drop contracts as well. You can also do it with Wax's unbox contract as well. So those are the contracts we support.
Nice. Yeah.
And they're pretty much the majority of the contracts that are out there anyway.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's just a fun little thing you can do.
Hell yeah, dude. No, it's useful. It's fun because it wasn't explained to me correctly. I'm like, what would be, the way it was explained to me. I was like, no, it would be better than that. And then I explained the tool like you just did to me. And yeah, I was just, unfortunate that I got it communicated the wrong way. But
now you can use it for every Funko drop in the future.
Yeah,
and every other pack that you want to simulate too.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. All right, Sandy, anything for Jazz before we let him go?
Just thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
and thanks for building an awesome tool for everybody, or multiple awesome tools in one thing for everybody.
Oh, thank you for having me on so that I could tell everybody about ChainChamps and explain the features that may not have been completely obvious to everybody.
Hell yeah. Jazz, thank you so much, my friend. We will definitely be ChainChamp advocates from here on out, man. You have our support, and thank you so much for joining us, audience. Thank you again. I'm going to send you probably over to the left house. I don't know. Is he still streaming? I would assume so.
Yeah. Let me go check.
Yeah. Say what's up to my Metaforce brother when you get there, and we will see you guys hopefully not in an hour because I'm kind of over streaming back to back now. So hopefully it's like tomorrow or something.
No more interviews today.
Yeah, I'm good. All right, guys. Bye.
We won.